All right, so I want to wrap this up on this one, but something that Rick Beato didn't really talk about in his video of how music is getting more terrible and stuff. I mean, it was a great conversation piece, and it really you know got a lot of mixed reactions and stuff like that. And I do miss the days when YouTube used to allow you to post response videos to directly to the video, but you can't. You got to go seek it out. But the last thing I would say that Rick Beato didn't really, I don't think he touched on in the video that I can recall. I watched it like last week, so if he did touch on this, I apologize. But if I'm saying he didn't, but the thing is let's say, okay, I come up with a riff on this killer flying bee right here, and that riff just resonates around the world. Every 15-year-old kid grabs their guitar, they're inspired, they want to learn this crazy neoclassical arpeggio that I got going on. And the song that it's in starts to do really well. And then it starts to do really, really well. And then before you know it, uh, money's coming in. People are buying merch. I don't have any merch, but suddenly I'm making T-shirts, and now you're buying my T-shirts. And next thing you know, I've got a dream team of musicians. That hey, let's get this song on stage, right? And like okay, it sounds far fetched, but how many times has this actually happened? Quite a few. You get on stage with it, you're playing Walk in Open Air live with the Kongzilla sound knocking everybody's heads off with this crazy guitar riff, right? And you got 100,000 people in front of you in the first crowd. Suddenly it goes hyper viral, and then you get the crowd from Moscow in 1991. Like you get that. Something like 1 million people there, and somebody yelling at somebody. And anyway, that can happen without a record label. That's the part that blows my mind. Is there are so many bands out there right now, and I think Frederico from Frozen Crown kind of sums it up. He goes, "Look, the days of somebody knocking on your door saying, or coming to your club and seeing you play and say, oh, we're going to sign you onto a label." He goes, "Those days are kind of over." He goes, "The way the music industry is now is you do all the heavy lifting. You go buy the instruments, you go to the studio, you pay for the studio time, you produce the song, all that stuff, you make the video, and if it does well, then they'll say, hey, we'll promote you a little bit more." And so what Frederico was saying is you really don't need a major label. You don't need this big you don't need Bob Rock and Desmond Child writing your songs and producing your songs. You don't need Hollywood, you don't need Nashville, you don't need these places anymore to make your music big, because it can go big from your bedroom. That's the crazy part. And how is that a bad thing? You know what I mean? Like, yes, you got a sea of people trying, but it doesn't really matter, because whether there's no such thing as an oversaturated market when it comes to musicians. It seems like it. There's an oversaturation, like I say, of stuff that's not going to do anything, but the cream always rises to the top. Why are the musicians that you are influenced by and you know about, how do you know about them? And think of everybody, say from maybe 2010 on. How many of them are on major labels? Like a lot of them are not. Like all these new bands that are coming out, they're on smaller labels. A lot of them they are their own label, and they're promoting themselves and everything. It really nowadays, for a band to be popular, it's really more about the marketing than it is about the musicianship. And that's a good and a bad right there. But in general, no, I'm glad music is easier to make. I just wish it was even easier and cheaper to make, because again, the cream will always rise to the top. There's going to be somebody coming out with a song anytime now that it's just, wow, this is just what the world needs, and everybody's going to love it. It's going to get popular. That person's going to go from rags to riches overnight. Hopefully they can maintain that, and all my kind of fans will be inspired by it. All kinds of new musicians will be inspired by it, and that's going to happen till the day we die and well beyond. And that is a good thing. And if the technology gets easier to do that, I'm in. All right, there we go. So music, in my opinion, is not getting worse. It's just evolving. Worse is just you like this flavor over that flavor. So no, music is not getting worse. It's never been crazier. Again, like I said in the first few videos, Tim Henson couldn't exist in the period of Robert Johnson. Ingve couldn't, exist in the period of, the 1970s. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So, but we have that now, and that's where musicians are starting, is learning from those guys, and God knows what kind of spin-offs we get out of it, but every now and then we get these crazy spin-offs of just really great, unique things. Anyway, there we go.